Hey everybody, how are you? Great to see you here at Frankfurt in, it's 2015, right? Okay. I'm really happy to be here to show you the JDXA. The JDXA is our highest level of synthesizer in the crossover concept that we're using. And this crossover concept is taking the highest level of DSP research that we have, which is the digital side, and combine it with sheer, just raw analog power. So we have two sound engines. We have an analog sound engine and a digital sound engine. And they both go through all of the processing, all the signal flow. They can go through an analog filter or a digital filter, whatever you want. They can cross-pollinate, however you want to do that. It's perfect. For the analog side, we have 4 different parts. We have 4 different parts for the digital side. On the analog side, each part has 2 oscillators. Pulse width for each oscillator if you want. Then it goes through the filter. The filter is a variable filter, so that, again, it's a 4-pole filter, a transistor filter, and also a multi-mode filter. Then it goes through some digital effects, real-time digital effects over here. If you want to bypass the digital effects, you can go completely dry, take the analog signal, go out the analog output, and you can keep everything pure. There's also a CV gate, so we can connect to the IRA stuff or any other modular stuff that we can really have a lot of fun with that as well. Okay, so let's listen to it. Okay, so as you're listening to this song was probably about 70% on the analog side and about 30% on the digital side. Okay, now there's also an 8-part sequencer, and this sequencer can be, you can do things in real time, you can do things in step time or TR type recording. Now there's no drums here, it's basically just a sound sculpting, shaping machine, okay? So the drums that you're hearing is from my DAW on Logic, but everything else is coming from the JDXA. So let's take it at a very simple level, and I'll show you how this kind of works, okay? So I have one analog tone, and I can edit the tone of course, but I can add the other analog tones, and I can edit whichever combination of tones that I want. Okay, so it's very simple, pretty logical. Okay, you can do the same thing on the digital side. You have 4 digital parts. You can edit any of those as you wish. Okay, so it's really pretty simple. Okay, so now I have, I'm just going to show you this tone concept and editing each tone little by little, and I think that you'll really see you'll get the idea really quickly. filter envelope. Little cutoff. Still one analog tone. Second part. Third part. Now, each of these parts can be zoned in different areas of the keyboard. So I can have 8 zones if I want. I can layer them in any particular way. It's, again, very, very flexible. But most importantly, it's just a lot of fun. It works like a real synthesizer, but it also works as kind of like a performance-oriented instrument. So it's not just, suited for just, working on one particular tone and being very detailed that way. You can be very global and have a really nice performance. Okay, so let's take it even another step. Now, the analog parts, since there's 4 parts, they can be independent, all on different MIDI channels, doing different things if you want, or you can put it into polystack mode and play it as a 4-part polyphonic chord, much like a Jupiter 4 or something like that. So let's take, I have this analog sound. Let me show you how the digital world sort of joins this. So the analog side, I like to think of it as like a wardrobe. Like the analog side is like your work boots and your jeans. And then the digital side is like the nice jacket, the tie, the comb your hair a little bit. It has that kind of quality. So I'm going to take this analog sound and I'm going to put a couple of digital parts on it. So it really adds a whole nother world of possibilities. Okay? Now, this next example that I'm going to show you is, it kind of takes this super saw sound that Roland is responsible for inventing, and I'm kind of detuning it even a little bit more. I have some extra chorus on it. Of course, I have some delay on it. Now I'll just play this for you. I'm going to also work the portamento. It's real nice. Here we go. There's also a very, very cool arpeggiator. Now I have this sound going through the digital filter, then being more exaggeratedly distorted by some of the effects. Now I'm going to detune the oscillator. Okay. Right? Now I'm just going to put a drum groove on it. Really swallows up very, very nicely. Now here, the resonant filter is also very, very cool. So if I had just have, go very old school. The resonant filter is really, really nice. It's not too much, but it's also very warm, but it also has a lot of nice attack to it. Now, here's another very, very cool thing. On Arpeggiator, I have an arpeggiated pattern going, and then I'm going to go to the individual syncable LFOs for each of the oscillators. Okay, so there's... Right? Start to feel that. Can have a lot. You notice that there's also a subsonic sound under there. Okay, that's part of another TFX that makes it really, really strong and very powerful. Now, let me just play you another example. Now, as I mentioned before, that there's an 8-part sequencer involved here. So I have 4 parts of MIDI coming in, and I'm just kind of tweaking in real time. Nicely saturated. Now there's also a vocoder, very high quality vocoder.
Something cool to show ya. I got something cool to show ya. Something cool to show ya. I got something cool to show ya. Something cool to show ya. I got something cool to show ya.
Again, very, very cool. The oscillation with the filter. Now, let's just go old school. Okay, the arpeggiator. Filter envelope, I mean amplifier envelope. The envelopes are very crisp. Okay, now let's take this digital analog crossover concept to another level that I think will be very easy for you guys to really understand. Now let's take a bell sound. Obviously this is a very digital sound. Okay? But with just with the supernatural synthesizer capabilities, we could take this bell sound with a simple filter sweep. It turns into a nice... Turns into a very, very nice analog type sound. Now let's go even further. Let's add some analog parts to that. And now let's filter sweep this. It really, really takes it to a very nice level. Distortion. Again, nice, very cool real-time effects. Okay, now let's take a digital sound and route it through an analog filter so it'll warm it up really quite nicely. It's just super, super cool. It's very, very nice. And there's also an additional high-pass filter. So if you really want to make something nice and crisp, it really, really gets up there. Okay, now I'm going to play one last song for you. And this will show off a little bit of the Arpeggiator and also some very cool lead sounds and a little bit of LFO stuff. So that's the JDXA. Pretty amazing sound. A brand new concept with highest level DSP technology and analog technology.